Big news just dropped in the NFL that's going to impact fantasy football, especially drafts over the weekend, because the holiday is going to be ripping. You guys are going to be ripping some drafts. Adam Thielen going to the Vikings. We're going to talk about that impact. We're going to talk about the good, the bad, the ugly. I'll talk you into them. I'll talk you out of them. So you get everything you need, the advanced analytics, the data, the situation, all the news, the facts. Before we dig in, though, you need to click that subscribe button right now. When news drops, you get a video on multiple players, because we'll have videos on the Panthers side as well. Those will be coming out. On top of that, we're going to look at the matchups, help you set lineups, go deep on the waiver wire, deeper than any other channel, sometimes 20 to 50 players deep. Depending on your format, you may need that. Click that button. Stop missing out. We are looking at Adam Thielen. We are back with the Vikings. There's a lot to look at here. There's a lot of ancillary players. There's a lot of injuries to look at. We're looking at where he's going at in drafts. There's strategies that you got to implement that may cause you to not get him, because by default you can't. On top of that, how you're built in that sector of the draft when you're looking at him. Good and bad, whether you're picking him up or just fading. We're going to talk about all that today, but I think this could help him out, at least for the start of the season. And Adam Thielen with the Carolina Panthers, last few years, even with them, when he's out on the field and healthy, he's been producing. Let me know if you're excited about this change. Are you thinking about Thielen? Are you a Vikings fan, NFL-wise, fantasy-wise? But he's been a productive wide receiver in the league for a long time. He's been in the league since 2014. They wanted that veteran presence. They got issues with injuries right now and suspensions. They got to wrap that up. They got a young quarterback in there. They need stability. Adam Thielen's going to bring that to him, averaging 12 points per game over the course of his career. He has had at least one wide receiver game every season for the last 9 seasons. At least one. Looks like more than likely at least 2. But I can't count those green lines right there and be 100% accurate. But that lets you know, and that's a testament of how consistent he is out there on the field. Even on the downturns, even those older seasons right there, he's still able to give you a little something. Remember, undrafted free agent. We root for those guys. We root for those guys who have the odds stacked against them. 5th rounders, 6th rounders, 7th rounders. Those guys getting cast aside. Those guys that should have been drafted higher. But the NFL said no, and we're going to let them push down the draft. Guys like Adam Thielen, who are an afterthoughts. Guys like Jalen Coker, who we're going to talk about later today. But this is a wide receiver that's very crafty, technical, good nuance. And you're looking at this wide receiver depth chart. The Vikings got some problems. Addison out 3 games. Nailor's dealing with an injury. Justin Jefferson's ramping back up. He's returned to practice. Looks like there's a good chance he's back for the start of the season. That's what the tea leaf says in the news. It's not like I'm hanging out with him. I don't know. So don't go off of that as pure news from me. But looks like he's coming back for week 1. Looks like it's up in the air for that, at least. Maybe that's the correct terminology. But we do know he's a wide receiver 1. He can blow up on almost every Sunday. He's a steady wide receiver when he's healthy and on the field. We got a new quarterback. He is a gunslinger. He'll push it out there, which is good for a wide receiver with a rookie. At least that's a gunslinger that's going to get out there. He has a good history with backup quarterbacks. Pretty much this team has a good history with backup quarterbacks. If Justin Jefferson's out there healthy on the field, nobody's worried about him. Jordan Addison's going to be out 3 games. This is one of the catalysts of the move here. He's going to be out 3 games to start the season. That could be a huge impact to the season if they can't get the ball rolling, because they do not have anybody on the opposite side of Justin Jefferson to at least command targets, the least be scary to the defense to where they got to roll things over. They might have that safety over top. They might have him netted pretty good. That being said, Jordan Addison is a good wide receiver. When he's back, he's going to command targets. McCarthy targets him heavy in practice, especially with Justin Jefferson being out. McCarthy was targeting him heavy in practice. I got the training camp clips. I got the footage. I look at that every day. I cover training camp deeper than any other fantasy football analyst out there. Matter of fact, all the other fantasy analysts, when they get their news, facts, and data from training camp, they're coming from me. That's the thing about that. So if you're hearing stuff from the other YouTube channels, they're coming from me. That being said, Jordan Addison's going to be hyper-targeted, especially in those games where they're trying to take away Justin Jefferson. If Thielen's out there on the field, he's going to take some of those targets away. That is something to look at because Thielen's a good player. Jalen Nailor is a good wide receiver for what he is. Not tremendously great for fantasy football. He will have a spike week here and there, but he's dealing with a hand issue considered week to week. The thing about week to week when it comes to NFL news, that turns into month to month pretty easy. So keep in mind with that, or at least could feel like month to month. It could be like 3-4 weeks. Something to pay attention to with Jalen Nailor, and another catalyst to why we brought in Adam Thielen. We're looking at the offense here. 1,500 yards, Justin Jefferson. Jordan Addison, 875. ADOTs are important here. Justin Jefferson, 10. Jordan Addison, 12.8. 11.5 from Nailor. All the wide receivers are getting it downfield. McCarthy, new quarterback, he's going to push it downfield. He's a gunslinger. He'll move a bit in the pocket. He's more mobile than advertised. He might find Hawk underneath. Hawk being so dependable underneath allows these wide receivers to get a little deeper. But McCarthy's going to push it downfield. That's one thing about that. He's got an arm on it. He's going to sling it. He's very confident. These wide receivers are going to have a double-digit ADOT. I expect Thielen to be around there. And you're looking at the pace of play here for the Vikings. That is very important for these wide receivers. No matter what, since 2022, since McConnell has been there, McConnell likes to keep a fast-paced offense. Whether it's neutral game script, which is the one below, or just open, all plays ran, they like to be around top 5 in pace of play. When it's all plays ran, they're around 6 or 7. Neutral game script, top 5. They like to throw it a lot. They like to be fast-paced. This is a team that will go no huddle a lot. Neutral game script, 11%, 13% when it's opened up. They like to keep the pace moving. So that means extra plays ran in the offense and the right game script. So if you're looking at a game script where there's a 50 over under and the defense gets torched a little bit, you're seeing that in the DBs, the matchup plays from PFF. Keep that in mind with the Minnesota Vikings, with McCarthy, extra plays ran, ancillary wide receivers, what I was trying to say, are going to get extra work, like an Adam Thielen. So when Jordan Addison comes back, if you're playing DFS, DraftKings, or whatever, you may want to throw him in those lineups just in case he gets a couple extra targets. You're looking at Adam Thielen, 12.5 points per game since 2022. In 2022, he was with O'Connell in that offense. He has been in this offense before. He has played with the Vikings. So he knows this offense. They have a rapport. There's not going to be too much of a ramp up here. There will be some, but we also have a little bit of time to iron it out. He's a veteran. He's been in the game. He can run routes. He can do all this stuff. So the ancillary basic stuff, the technical stuff, he doesn't really have to learn. So they're going to be able to throw him in rather easy. There might be a week or so in season where you're going to have to wait on him. But again, when you're looking at Adam Thielen here, 12.5 points per game, last 3 seasons, injuries baked in there, new teams, weird quarterback play, weird situations. He's dependable. He's a dependable wide receiver. On top of that, air yards per game, he can hit triple digits. He has the potential for that. He has the potential to hit that 80-plus mark. He's averaging 63.4 air yards per game. There's some games where he's just getting a few short targets here and there. Sometimes he's not the wide receiver one in the offense. He's the ancillary guy. Really depends on how the game script shakes out, which would be the same thing here with the Vikings. But one thing we know to remember, all those wide receivers last year, ADOTs over 10. 9.1 on his career, 9.9 last year, 18.8 highest in a game last year, 11.8, 11.2, 10.3, and then in the 8s on the low. And you're seeing the up and down volatility with the Vikings. You want to note this, 11.4, 11, 11.1, 10.9, 15, 14, 12.5, 12.5, 10.4. So we're getting deeper targets downfield in this offense. This offense will push it downfield and run at a fast pace. They will push those DBs back. Adam Thielen will be in some pressing situations here to score fantasy points But also, cost matters in fantasy football. Red zone targets is always there. When he was with the Vikings last time, 5th among wide receivers in red zone targets. And then with the Panthers that first year, 22nd with 15. Missed a lot of games last year. Still saw 8 targets, caught 6 of them. Still got a lot of work considering 15 the year prior. Missed a lot of the season last year. And the one thing we can know is when he came back, everybody ran to him off the waiver wire. Everybody went to him. He has experience in this offense. He's a very experienced wide receiver. And he's in an offense that is very good for fantasy football. Now, here's where I'm going to talk you into him and when I talk you out of him. So look at him where he's at in drafts right now. He's definitely going to be in a period the first 3 weeks of the season where he's going to get a lot of opportunity, or should, depending on how he's looking with the team when they get him under the hood. When we're looking at him, he's going to be late in drafts. He's going to be one of your last picks. I'm going to talk you out of him right here. There's a lot of good lottery ticket running backs. We're talking about 12-man, 16-round leagues here. You're going to be looking at lottery ticket running backs in this stage of the draft. On top of that, you should be good at wide receiver to the point that if you're going into week 1 and you're looking for a veteran wide receiver with one of your last picks for one of those skilled spots, wide receiver, tight end, running back, quarterback, and not kicker defense, you might be in a world of problems once injuries start to hit unless you pull good off the waiver wire. You should be good at wide receiver before you get here. You should be looking at lottery ticket upside options. Like we're going to see a lot of Ja'Cory Krosky-Mertz this year because this rookie running back class was deep. So you have to be prepared for that. If you're in a spot where you loaded up at running back early, now I'm talking you into it, you loaded up at running back early, say you started your draft, 3 running backs, 4 running backs, you're going to get to the part of your draft where you're getting good wide receivers still, but they're a little bit ambiguous. You're going to have some lineup plays. More than likely, you're getting to the back of your draft here. You're looking at a guy like Adam Thielen. You're looking at a Wan'Dale Robinson. You're probably going to stay away from Xavier Get because he will be a little bit volatile with T-Mac there, soaking up targets. And you're going to be shying away a little bit of these lottery ticket plays. You still might have enough room to get you 1, but you're not going to be able to cash in on 2. Because you're going to have to look at an Adam Thielen or one of these veteran wide receivers. There are not many veteran wide receivers in this range that you can just pick up. Now, if you're looking who to drop to pick them up for, I wouldn't drop my lottery ticket play for that if my lineup's good at wide receiver going into week 1. I just wouldn't do that. You do you. Like, if you're talking about these lottery ticket running backs, I would not do that. My goal with the lottery ticket running back is to hold them as long as possible. And if I'm built to the point where I'm 4 or 5 deep, good at wide receiver for my lineups, like my backup, my next wide receiver that's ready to take over that lineup, gamesmanship-wise, even though it's not going to score me or net me more fantasy points to start a season, gamesmanship-wise, I'm going to hold on to that lottery ticket player. I'm going to do that, so I won't be picking him up. If I have iffiness with my wide receivers right now, not all of you do, but there should be about 1 to 2 teams per league, 12-man leagues. That's a little bit iffy. They went a little bit too hard at running back to starts. They drafted mid-round wide receivers. The guys I would drop from this range would be the veteran running backs that you can't start because in this range you already drafted 4 running backs early. And you went veteran instead of dart throw. So like a Najee Harris. Maybe a Rachaad White. Najee Harris isn't going to win your league. You might drop him and hate that, though. There's more value with the running back there, potentially. But you're also in a situation where you're banged up at wide receiver already going into your league. And Adam Thielen could be that dart throw for you. For me looking at this, I want lottery ticket running backs. So I'm not getting much Adam Thielen unless I'm messing around with the format of my league because I'm in so many leagues where I diversify my processes and I draft running back early, knowing that I'm coming back in those later rounds and getting a Wan'Dale Thielen or a veteran wide receiver to make sure I'm good on the back end of my wide receiver bench, but I'm still trying to attack lottery ticket running backs, and they're not moving for me. I'm not dropping them. I'm looking at his ADP right now, and there were rumors that he was going to the Vikings last week. We called that out in one of the player list videos. The ones that are orange with black writings, those are player list videos, and will be waiver wire videos, trying to find you gems, going over advanced analytics, going over trends, whatever I can find. If I haven't talked about a player in a bit, I will bring them up so you get something on them. Adam Thielen has been trending up a little bit, but not enough for the market to go ham. He will go up a little bit. I bet you he gets up to that 160 to 150 range. 165 might be on the high, actually. It might be around that 165 range. I bet you he drops up 5 to 8 spots in ADP as his name's in the market right now instead of a guy people are casually picking up. Even with the Panthers, that veteran presence there with the red zone looks, especially with T-Mac there, that would have softened up the blow for him in the red zone to get those looks with Bryce Young. He's a veteran that could net you points. What I like him best, daily fantasy football in the cheap. I like him in best ball. I like him if I'm hurting at wide receiver, like I said. Do you need him? If you need that veteran presence on the back end of your bench. You do not absolutely need him. He's not for long. He's going to get more competition in the offense. He's good as a throw-in lineup play throughout the year with those boom matchups with the Vikings. Those big matchups where the ball's going to be flying. He's going to be out there all season long, though. They're going to use him. And these wide receivers, some of them are going to get banged up. That's just the nature of the game. Maybe not. I could be wrong on that. But that's just the nature of football. We know how football's ran. And when they come out, Adam Thielen comes up in the line of targets. If you got the room, I'm cool with it. But again, I'm holding on to my lottery ticket running backs. I think you're going to catch a lot of Ja'Cory Crosskey-Merritts this year. And everybody's jumping off the bit to get Ja'Cory Crosskey-Merritt because he's cheap. You're going to get a bunch of them this year, off and on, because we didn't get many of them last year, the year prior. We didn't get many injuries at the running back position. Injuries are starting to mount up with these teams as we're regressing back up to average in the last 2 years, especially last year after Halloween time. Injuries were light, and that felt like these young players and also these moves were less fluid. Now they are starting to get pretty fluid. It's starting to get that way. And I want my lottery ticket players, I want my lottery ticket spots open to be able to react quick. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I want to hear about that. Make sure to hit that subscribe button on the way out. One thing for watching. Catch you on the next video.